Hey everybody, welcome. We are live. I'm here with everyone's favorite bread cat from space, and we are going to talk about all the latest that's going on with Feeshes and Veve, and I'm super excited to have this conversation. And I want to start out by saying congratulations to you, because this is really exciting, and I'm sure this is something you've been working on for a very long time. And I know all the Feesh fam is thrilled to see this collab kind of finally come into life and fruition. So major congratulations.
Thank you.
For being here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited for it to finally see the light of day. It's been like over like a year now, where I kind of finally put like the proposal together and floated it past Veve, and they said yes, and so I went off to the races to start producing it.
Yeah.
And it's been a long journey, and I won't get into all the details, but really
Well, I'm
like
sure
a
at
lot
some
of.
point we would love to hear all
Sure.
the
Yeah. I mean,
details.
I'll go into it. Yeah. Whatever we want to know.
Yeah. I mean, so we are a little limited on time. You're a very
Yeah.
busy guy. So I would love to dive as deep as we can, but
Yeah. Let's go.
our limited time, we'll just kind of see how far we get. And also try to answer maybe some questions coming through on the live chat. So if you guys have questions as we go along, we'll try and address those as we can. So how did you come up with the feesh concept and name? Because I've always found that the feesh name itself clever and funny, and I'm not as ingrained as I'd like to be in your community. I'm there, but peripherally. So if you could expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. First of all, the experience, I do a lot, and so I think it's impossible for too many folks to be able to like do everything, and like have a life and then live in a Discord. Like it's a lot. So it's as passive or active as you'd like to be. But how did I get the idea? Someone said something I didn't agree with on the internet. They said NFTs aren't real because you can't touch them. And I was like, that's nonsense. Like there's so much I think that NFTs can be. The way that it is just a token on a blockchain. But that one thing can be kind of disguised or dressed up to be anything, and so that level of creativity marrying with technology was exciting to me. But I was like, I'm going to show you, person on the internet. I'm a little more calm now in that, but I'm going like 2+ years now on this vendetta against like I'll prove it to you. So instead, I flipped that on its head of how can I make something digital make a physical reaction, and so maybe it can't touch you, but what if it touches your emotions, right? And so I start off with it's a feesh or a fish that is cute and almost like quirky and weird and like not much to look at by design, because I wanted them to actually swim around. And so the art is a little more simplified because it's animated once you put them in tanks, and then also it allows it to be a shape-shiftable thing that is simple, where it doesn't have this intricate design that gets messed up if I kind of start to animate it in different ways and things like that. But then the biggest kicker was like your NFT is going to die, like it has an expiration date. And so I thought that like someone's going to buy a feesh and enjoy it for a certain amount of time, and then one day wake up and it's floating on the top of their tank. I wanted them to kind of have that emotional roller coaster where they've bonded with it, they've named it, they've looked after it, and then one day I break their heart because, and it's random. It's not like I'm like, today this fish dies. It's not like that. It's random, and but such is life. And then and it worked. I think the first kind of the feesh were in like a force field, if you will, for the first like 6 months, and then after that, like just there was a day where I took the force field away, and some feesh died right away because they'd technically been dead for a while, and then the other ones like started like. So it's this whole thing that changed, like, and it actually made like a memory of like, this is the day my NFT died, and like on the feesh cord, like we had a mourning channel, like where we were helping people through the grieving process.
That's amazing.
But I didn't want to ever take anything away. Like the whole thing is about giving more value felt, and it's this entertaining thing, because I think that's what NFTs really turn into, is like it's this entertainment. People are spending like, if you want to combine blockchain world with the real world, Hulu and Disney Plus and all these things bundled together for like 2 years that I've been doing feeshes, that's like 0.2 ETH, right? So that's one form of entertainment, and there's so much content there that sometimes we don't even watch it, right? It's just we need it in case. Feesh is always there and always doing different things, and it might not be what you want to tune into, but there's a level of you pay it once, and then you kind of get this thing that's a journey, a ticket to ride, if you will. And so it became so much more than the feesh die. It became, we had a romance, like a dating app event. We had this we had this event where I had to find out why are the feesh glowing, and we had to like do chemistry virtually to kind of fix it. And it just, it's a creative outlet for me to be able to do a ton of stuff. And so I'll stop my rant here, but basically it's an entertainment NFT, if you will. So.
Yeah, and you seem to really enjoy it, and you're like, your passion shines through, which makes it all the more exciting. I will say that when this announcement came, I immediately hit panic mode and was like, my feesh are probably dead, and like went immediately to check. I'm like, are they
Don't
even
worry,
alive?
the feesh built a time machine, and we traveled back. Like there's lore involved and all this other, so we time traveled back, and now we're at like, we were way in the future and we didn't know it in the beginning, and so we time traveled back to end of 2022 in what most people are experiencing the end of 2022. So now we're kind of real time, and it's a different timeline now though, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so you mentioned a little bit ago that you were working on this proposal. So how long did this collab with Veve sort of take, or how long has it been in the works for?
So we minted out on November 19th of 2021, I think. And so we're coming up on the second anniversary and jumping into like year 3 right after that. So my goal originally was, master plan is go from giving as much value as I can, and then before the 1 year anniversary, be like toe to toe with Disney. Now that's ridiculous. Like, I'm not saying like we're on the same level, but like in the same app. And so I was ready to go. You actually probably saw like the Vveverse demo with 2 of the feesh that were there. So 3 of the 4 were done. And then at one point, Veve had requested that we do kind of an artist that's like a Veve known artist, to go through things, and that just took a while. Like, so that lengthened it to, and again, by no fault of it, all of the artists that were Veve artists kind of like were busy, and in a parallel universe, there might have been a Fred Kozik feesh or Jermaine Rogers feesh or what have you. But then a technicality came about where I was like, who's coming to Veve? Mumbot, right? So, and I could ask my friend Mumbot to, and so finally I got to kind of hurry along a little bit, because I was itching to get this out. And the whole time I knew I was sitting on this, but even when I was doing interviews, I was like, there's no guarantee. But like, don't buy a feesh if you're just buying it to get it like for potential Veve stuff, because I wanted it to stand on its own. And so the way that I planned every little thing down for this was really like, this is a perk for the ones that took the journey without knowing about Veve, and this is that reward for them. And of course, if you buy a feesh today, or if you buy a feesh a year from now, that feesh, as long as they don't mint out, that feesh has the code, so you can still redeem it for the Veve collectible. There's currently no cap. If Veve needs to add like an end date to it for some reason, then I'll announce that as soon as possible. But my goal really is all 10,000 feesh will have a 10,000 kind of like parallel one of the 4 options within Veve.
Right, and there is a total allotment of 10,000 Web3 feesh, correct?
Correct. Only 10,000. I added a little bit of a mix, like a thing where I keep stressing like it's Web3 or NFT feesh, because feeshes, for non-technical folks, I would talk to people and they'd be like, "This is awesome. I would love to get on this." And I'm like, "Great." And just no pressure. If you want to, go for it. And they're like, "Wait, how do I buy it?" And I was like, "Oh, you get to get like a MetaMask, and then you have to like have Ethereum," and then their eyes just slowly glazed over. So there's a Web 2 experience that's just feesh, and so you get a free one for signing up. And if you have a Web 3 feesh and you make an account on feeshes.com, you actually get the free feesh. So like if you want, now that's not one that comes with a Veve perk. It's just an extra feesh for your tank that you can enjoy. It doesn't come with airdrops. It doesn't come with anything else. Just a feesh for a tank. But if you want an extra friend, it's free and it's there. But that lets people go and just pay cash. So if you wanted 5 feesh, there's like a bucket of 5 feesh that you can just pay fiat for, and that made it easier for people to get in and enjoy and just put a tank on their screen. And then if they want the airdrops or they want additional accessories, they just pay more cash. So it's kind of like an a la carte path, if you will, that just people are asking for. So lately I've had to kind of keep stressing that like there's 2 different experiences. One's like the free mode to cash mode, pay as you go. The other one's the ticket to ride, everything is included kind of thing.
And so do you think was the goal of making your Web 2 feesh to kind of one, give accessibility, but also maybe allow people to experience who are maybe a little more timid about Web3, kind of see if they like it, and then if they want to take the next step, they feel a little more comfortable, or they know what they're working with?
1,000% yes. And that's the
cool.
extra thing, is that like some people, they see MetaMask is one step, and then Ethereum buying is another, and then connecting to a website, and then minting seems like this big event. It's all these steps. Right. If I can just say, here's a free feesh, and you go, I like this, hooray, it's sending me emails, and like you're getting the experience, it shows that ROI with like a risk-free kind of way. And then a big part of the project through the feesh cord and just through me in general is I try and make myself as accessible as possible. Probably too much if you ask my wife.
Very
but with that, it comes to education, right? I want everyone to be safe. On the feesh cord, for example, we don't do DMs. Like everything's public because you've got all the eyes of the feesh. If everything's on the up and up, you've got like 1,000 people going, whoa, 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 like jumping in and helping or jumping in and protecting people. And so I think that removes some of that friction where you've got 1,000 people that will hold your hand through it day or night. If I'm not around, if I'm around, I'll personally do it. And I think that makes it easier. So we've seen people that I'm lucky enough to say, like, there are people that have never been in NFTs that got the courage to jump in and mint a feesh. And now they're like, oh, okay, not only did I do it once, but I kind of understand things and they feel more confident. So for me, that's been a cool thing.
Yeah. And I want to shout out your feesh cord because everybody in there is, it is like, for people that aren't in there or part of the Veve fam, you know, just now kind of understanding feesh and everything and wanting to dive in a little deeper. The feesh fam is just like the Veve fam, like if not even better. Like they're just so warm, so welcoming, so friendly, so helpful. A lot of times when people get their first feesh, you have people saying, hey, can you send me your MetaMask? I want to send you something. Like that happened to me when I got my first feesh and kind of was like, hey, how's it going, guys? And somebody said that and I'm like, what?
It almost sounds like it's a scam, but like it's a public wallet and we're just giving it to you. I started doing that because people would join right after like an airdrop went out, and I'm like, well, when we get airdrops, I technically have like 40 feesh or something like that. I should get 40 airdrops. For me, I like almost blacklist I'll take like 12. Like, give me a dozen and I'll end up giving them out as people. But people will just join. I'm like, you waited until just now. Like, we just sent out the airdrop. And so I started saying like, what's your wallet? Here you go, just so, to catch you up before the next month. Because originally it was an airdrop a month. Now we've moved to like more event based. So there's like more options and they all go with a theme and things like that, which honestly is more work because I'm building these big things. And so I shot myself in the foot with that. But still, like, my mantra lately is, in the name of fun, it must be done. And so, you know, whether it's hard or time consuming, like I need to do it because it just needs to happen. And so, yeah, I would give away those. And the feesh fam, like the best part for me was finding this community of strangers that we've all kind of gotten to know. And, you know, I even recently met one of the feesh fam at a concert like that.
Cool.
I ended up saying just in general, like, here's a band that I like, and I'm so excited I get to go see them. Well, they ended up like coming to Detroit and we ended up meeting up and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's like started digital. It's the whole like digital real life kind of like intermingling. Like now it's throughout the whole thing. But like it started off with me just sending out free airdrops, and now it's like, it's a race to see who, you don't have that one, here, take this one, or, oh, I sent you an extra, you know, give it to the next person. And it just becomes this thing where, you know, we roll out the red carpet and welcome people. And the airdrops, some of them have like, and again, I don't control this, but some of them have had crazy value. Other ones, because we've grown, the common ones, usually there's a lot, but the common ones I try and make extra cool with, like, you know, you can customize, like it's a television screen or a Jumbotron that you can put your own image in. So then you really can customize the tanks, you know, because you can have an image inside an image of an image. It gets crazy, but the tanks that I've been seeing lately, I'm excited to see the spark come again from all these other things. Not that we haven't been doing cool stuff, but like seeing more people, and then someone does something really cool, and now the other ones have it now on their tank. So I don't know, it's just really fun.
Yeah, no, I had to shout out though your community, because I just remember being like, wow, that's amazing. Like I minted a feesh and then somebody sent me one for free, and you know, other people sent me things to put in my tank, and I was just like, wow, like why? You know, like, but people just genuinely, and I just saw, I was in there a couple days ago and somebody had just minted a feesh, and another person reached out and said, hey, can I have your wallet? I'd like to send you something to help you get started. Like, it's just really amazing how everybody is in there. So that big shout out to you and, you know, the entire community. And I think it's going to be
exciting. Zero credit. It just happened. But I think from like I really tried to push like no hype, no pressure. Like this wasn't built like a 10K, hype it to the moon and then disappear. Like a lot of things happened. Like I'm fine for this to be a slow burn. And if it never sells out for me, like I don't care. I now only kind of want the sell out because I want to give the people that have been in since day one the I told you so. But like, but again, driving sales has never been a thing. Even with this Veve thing, like, it's not, I see a lot of people kind of mixing streams a little bit, in my opinion, of what the Ethereum price is $50. These artist fish are not worth $50. If you look at what their OpenSea stuff is going for, though, like it's still stupid, like compared to say like $50. But I get it. Not everyone has tons of stuff, but it's $50 for the ticket to ride experience. The Veve fish is just an extra piece, like it's an extra perk. So I'm not trying to go, aha, it's in Veve, mint. Like people I think are just now learning about it and kind of finally taking a second glance, because I get it. Like fish tanks, well, I don't care about fish tanks, but for me, it's what if I took a fish that was digital and I made you care about it? And then what if I made it to where you can customize a tank, but then you can actually make unlimited tanks? What if you can cast them to your television? What if you can put them in VR? What if there's a game where they can jump into mech suits? Why are fish in mech suits? It's this wild and crazy adventure where anything can kind of happen. And I think that's what draws people in. But I see from like an outsider, someone say, it's just fish. That's dumb. Like, I get it. Those people are never going to do it. And I don't care if you jump in or not. It's either for you or it's not. I don't care. I'm going to do things no matter what. So for me, it's been exciting to see the Feesh fam and the people kind of take a second look and kind of realize maybe at first glance that it is something for them, which is exciting. But at the same time, if we never mint out, for me, it doesn't change anything. If we mint out, it's more just to give the Feesh fam the I told you so, that we can do it a completely different way and still have quote unquote success. So.
Yeah, and so when I saw the feesh on the screen at DCon, I was like, okay, stuff's happening. Like this is exciting. And so I was kind of expecting just to see the regular feesh come to Veve or just get integrated into the Veveverse at some point. I didn't like foresee necessarily like this major collab where we're going to have our own feesh on Veve in the app, separate and apart from, the Web3 feesh. But I was blown away at your collabs. Like these artists are amazing. The community is familiar with several of them, and if not yet, they're going to be. And I knew something was going on with Fvbrix because he kept doing so much.
He and I were pretty much saying every single thing possible. Like if you go back and look at like the last 6 months, there's been things where I've just been saying I'm very, very, like if you take the first 2 letters of very and it's Veve, so like I've been like throwing it in people's faces like super subtly for a while. But it's just I kind of always do that where I'm always kind of hinting at something, and some people hate it, some people think it's fun. So but yeah, Fvbrix and I kind of were walking a very fine line. But at the same time, like once it got minted on blockchain and like the blockchain detectives, and I even joked about that in a tweet of like, let's see how long it takes for them to figure it out. So, but yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I'm glad that we could bring it to it. It sounded like there was a question of like, I thought feesh from outside of Web3 would come into Veve somehow. Now it's kind of, we got the reverse. We'll see what the future holds, right? Like, it sounds like from just the early demo that you saw, there was both feesh there, but there was also like the intent to bring other NFTs inside. I've already kind of 3D-ified some of the airdrops. So like there's a television, a Cthulhu statue, some other things that my plan is to where when you get an airdrop for some of them, I'm not guaranteeing all of them will get converted to 3D, but ideally, I would like you to be able to log in, look at your inventory within feeshes.com and say, this television, I want to use this in a metaverse. And so I'm going to click 3D. And now when you look at the metadata, it's actually loading the 3D asset instead of the 2D asset. And so then when you go to a metaverse, that's what you're actually loading to that metaverse. I think there's a lot of things where, again, blurring the lines of like this non-fungible of like it never changes. The token never changes. The outside, though, the wrapper or the way that it looks can definitely change, and you're still not changing the NFT itself of one ID on chain. And so I like to play with that, right? Like the feesh dying, they didn't come out dead, but they could die. And so I think that's an interesting mechanic. They can come back to life. They can time travel. They can send emails. They're telepathic. Like all of these crazy things allow us to do a lot of fun. So instead of focusing on the non-fungible being it never changes, focusing instead on the fun part of non-fungible.
Yeah, love that. So can you tell us how these collabs came into place? Like,
Sure.
excuse me, and how you like met. We've got Mumbot, we've got Brian Morris, we got Fvbrix, and we got KMND-Z. Like a little bit of your relationships with them and how you kind of all got together and worked on this.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to call most of them friends. Brian Morris and I will see. No, I'm just kidding. Brian Morris is a great friend of mine. It all started, I think, when Veve started kind of converging with the Clubhouse scene, and Clubhouse was already going on and fine, but through some of the artist drops that were finally like starting to happen on Veve, they would do like a Veve Spaces or a Q&A on Clubhouse, and so I showed up for that, but then I really liked the artist, and so they would have rooms like late at night until like 3 and 4 in the morning later from my time. And I would just join them, and whether I could talk or not, just kind of like listen in. And when I could talk, I'd talk, and just kind of like became just someone that just was around. And from there, made some great, we would just spend all day like laughing our asses off about random stuff. And so it turned into kind of like a friendship, and I would always support them whenever they'd have a drop. If I could afford like a piece, or like, you know, if there was a bidding auction going on, it was really cool because I was getting to know these people and get the other side of the NFTs, where I think it's less necessarily, I'm not saying the art is good or bad, but I think the art makes you feel something. But then there's also the second piece of like hearing the story behind the artist, hearing the story behind the art piece and like what they were going for, or leaving some things up to interpretation. I think it's less about owning the art for what the art looks like, and more about owning a piece of the art because it's a piece of that story. It's a memento of that story that you resonated with and you connected with him as a human, at least for me. And so with that, I really kind of just became this collector of their works, not because necessarily like some of them very much the art. KMND-Z is one of my favorites. Mumbot, amazing. Brian's stuff blows my mind with the what he can do with, you know, not glass looking exactly like glass, and he does other things too, but like that's become kind of his signature kind of style. So anyway, I met them and became friends with them. And so if I was going to do this Veve drop, I wanted to control how can I make it go right to the hands of the holders, where there's no bots, there's no, and it's people that actually want the piece, right? So like we're going to see a lot of interesting secondary stuff. Not that I care about that. I will say transparency, because you could say like, oh, I'm trying to manipulate the secondary. I don't care. But there is a 2% extra fee. That's just so I can recoup the cost of like building all of this stuff. But just want to be transparent about that. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how the secondary market reacts with the current market sentiment, but with these people getting handed something for free, but it's something for free for the people that have been in the project forever, right? So do they want to give it up? Like, am I notorious for giving constant utility beyond things? Like, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I do think
interesting hint there.
I don't what. Anyway, but with that, yeah, I just think it'll be interesting. And with that, I wanted to really like control everything about the drop, even to like giving away specific feesh that were modeled after the feesh that got put into 3D, giving those away as contests. And then the people who won got to give me kind of like a name they would shout out, and I didn't tell them what it was for. And so they gave me these names, and then I put those in the descriptions of the feesh. So like there's probably some weird terms or whatever in there. The numbers and the titles are actually the feesh from the Web3 side that they were modeled after. And then in there is who kind of gets shouted out. So in a way, not only was I coming to Veve, but I wanted to bring my community in as much as possible. And even like the promo shots, there's specific feesh in the background. Those are random feesh that are randomly held by holders. So it kind of brought people's feesh in, brought the actual holders in. And then finally, I got to bring my friends in. Like, this is kind of a way I could kick in the back door, so to speak, and make it bigger than, like, sure, I could just bring feesh in, or I could bring feesh that are like taken from an artist thing, like KMND-Z's piece, the carousel. I was like, will you do this feesh for me? And like, let me know what you want for that. And he's like, can I change something? I was like, sure. Like, what you tell me what, and I'll see if my modeler can do it. Shout out to Pac-Man. And he sent me a sketch. And I was like, yep, we're doing this. Pac-Man, what would it take to do? Like, I just think that's such a unique piece. And like looking at the eye, even how it looks like kind of glass, but it's more KMND-Z's kind of piece, like style and stuff. I don't know. I'm over the moon. It just took something that was cool and made it beyond cool. Brian Morris's fish, there's a secret kind of Easter egg hidden in that. Like, it was the last one to get revealed. But when I'm excited to hear when people see that. You might need to like look at it in AR or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, that's another thing. Sorry, I'm over the moon and kind of gushing. Like, can't wait to see like
I love it.
backyards full of feesh swimming by, because they're interactive. So we can sit there and float and kind of like an idol, but then you can also tap them and they kind of like take a trip. And then even down to, again, the details, like if you drop all of them in the same spot and send them off in the animated mode, they don't really clash, so they can kind of swim around like almost like as if they were in a tank or something like that. So
yeah, that was my next question. Is I noticed that on the description it says that they're both animated and interactive. So
I just wanted to stress like interactive, like that it's not like you click it and their mouth opens up. Like I didn't want people to, or like doors, like they somehow there's like, I think interactive has been termed as like a lot of the car pieces in Veve. And so I just wanted, it's interactive because you can kind of toggle between two different states. One is like where it's just kind of stationary, like floating. But even in that, like the fins are animated, the mouths are animated, the eyes kind of like look around. So there's a lot of details in the animation that Pac-Man was able to bring to life that just, I felt bad because I was like, how much for this? And like, how much time do you think on this? And like, I kept saying like, it would be cool if, it would be cool with, but like, he was a trooper and just kept like really, really focused on like making it. I think he felt my passion and just pulled out all the stops for these. And I'm excited to work with him on something again soon in the future. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Sounds
Are they
very
drivable? Not in their current state, but with the Vveverse, they will work in the Vveverse just as well. There's scripting coming, and so like there's some scripts that I've got in the back of my head that I want to kind of bring to Veve that and again I have to see how it all comes to play, but I would love two different kind of scripts. One would be being able to make anything drivable or rideable, where it just kind of moves your avatar on top in like a mounted position, and then you just move around like as like you're riding that. That would be super cool. And the other one is to like be able to have like virtual pets for collectibles, and so you can make your feesh like kind of follow over your shoulder as you're walking around.
Oh, that's
things
cool.
like that. And again, you could apply it to anything, but obviously feesh will be kind of the first class. So we'll see how that path. But I've already got ideas, tons of ideas.
I'm sure you have a slew of ideas.
Yeah, I think I have like a 300 item like document just for the Vveverse alone that I would love to bring to life. So we'll see what's the path to get there. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So I put several links in the description of this video, and I know that the website feeshes.com/Veve goes over the whole drop and you know what you need to do and everything. But just for people that maybe don't necessarily read everything,
no worries.
If you already have a feesh, what are you going to need to do on Sunday or at any point that you decide?
Great question. So I'll just start off with it. Basically, what you're getting is a closed blind box. Is that promo code, right? The promo code is linked to a random feesh. I took all of the codes that Veve gave me, randomized it 19 times, and then shoved it in. I'm blind to it. I don't even know it. Like they sent me file names. I like randomized what they were called, so I have no idea what's what. So like it's completely blind even to me. But it's closed, right? So you can choose when you want to reveal it. The only thing that I'm pointing out with that date and time is that's the time that when those codes will start working within Veve, right? So if you want to hold on to your feesh and you've got the willpower to not reveal, then more power to you. I'm probably going to fail at trying to hold it in. But yeah, so basically what you would do is go to feeshes.com, log in. If you haven't connected your wallet or you don't log in as your wallet, there's two paths. You can make a username and password and link your wallet. That's kind of the easy way because you don't need to use MetaMask for most things after that. You will for claiming the feesh, but I'll get into that in a second. The other one is just connect via your wallet, and that's kind of like a login without connecting it to an email. All of it's like, I don't look into that stuff, but I understand people are cautious. So anyway, log in however you choose to. On the dashboard or in the navigation, there's a My Feesh link, or there's like on the dashboard, it's like the second link. You'll go there and you can see the list of all your feesh, and you'll be able to click on Manage Feesh. Now this is where you go to like rename your fish or do customized profile photos. I don't know if you know that, but you can do that. But then on the same screen, it says Reveal DNA. There's a button, and you'll click it after the date and time, and it'll pop up on your MetaMask and say, it's a big block of text. I'm sorry, but it just basically just explicitly says, when you are when you click accept, you are revealing the code to you. You can reveal it again, but once you reveal it once, the metadata for that feesh will change forever, saying that the code has been revealed somewhere. I have no way of knowing if the code gets used in Veve, so this is the best that I can do. And the reason why I kind of stress that is because after that, like if you were looking at the secondary, sometimes people will buy a feesh, it's not a mega feesh, and so they'll try and floor it and go back if someone sells it. It's been a wacky time on the secondary right now. But yeah, so if you're buying on the secondary, it's safe up until the 24th at 8 a.m. at PST. After that, anybody can reveal the feesh. So if you're going for the Veve collectible, make sure that it is not revealed yet. I even made a new update this morning called the checker, where you can, it's in the navigation, you can click it, check a feesh's ID to see if it's been revealed or not. Because on OpenSea, Sometimes the metadata lags. This is pulling straight from the source.
Mm.
Now, even with that, if you click reveal and then they click reveal, and so like it says it's not been revealed, and in that second they also reveal it, and then you move to OpenSea and you buy it, and they've already revealed. Like I can't control that, like those
Right.
things. So even then, it's a grain of salt and not a guarantee. But that at least will tell you if there's a chance or for sure it's been revealed.
Yeah, no, that I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't thought about that. The secondary market, that people need to be careful if they're going to buy a fish on the secondary.
And I'm not trying to push mints. It's just this is a free perk for holders, but some people will probably buy it, use the Veve thing, and then try and floor it to try and get another mint, another feesh, right? So if that's the case, just know that the secondary, if it was me, it's a very big risk, and so unless it's an extreme discount, which in case it's probably revealed, minting another one is the safest way, because if you mint, there's for sure it's never been used.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that point up. That's really important for people to know. So if somebody is listening in and has never gotten one of your feesh, we've talked, and I'm going to be over the next couple of days putting together a tutorial video to help people who have never bought a feesh mint their first one and the whole process, get that code. I'm going to show how you reveal the code, all that. Perfect. But just on a high level, what does somebody need to do that wants to mint one of your feesh in order to get that redemption code?
Yeah, I've tried to make it as easy as possible, but there is just some stuff that comes with Web3. Go to feeshes.com. You'll need a MetaMask, and do that through metamask.io. That is the URL that is the right one. Do not Google MetaMask, because scammers and whatnot will pay to rank higher than the actual site to try and dupe you into installing something that's like a compromised wallet, basically. So make sure that you've got the official link. If there's any questions on that, feeshcord, DM me on Twitter. I try not to use DMs, even ask publicly. But don't say MetaMask on Twitter, because there's bots. And so again, all of this is craziness. I get it. But get a MetaMask. If you're going to do it on mobile, it needs to be the MetaMask application. If it's on desktop, or a computer, it's the MetaMask extension for your browser. So once you have a MetaMask, that's the biggest step. Yep. And you'll set that up, and there'll be a phrase you should write down. That's like your restore key. Don't go spreading that, because that's like that. Keep that as private as possible. And then you'll need to get some Ethereum. Ethereum you can buy on Coinbase or whatever exchange you choose. You can also go directly through MetaMask now, and so that is probably the most streamlined way. And people will ask, if you're not familiar with like Ethereum pricing, how much do I need? Because it's the 0.033 ETH plus there's gas. Gas is about an extra $10. If it's more than that, just wait. Again, there's no FOMO with this, even with the Veve thing, whether you buy today or again a year from now, unless something changes on the Veve's end, you'll still have that code as long as there's a supply. So you don't need to go, I gotta buy right now. Like, go slow. don't mess it up if it's your first time. But yeah, so MetaMask, put some Ethereum in that address. Then once you're there, go to feeshes.com, scroll to the very bottom, and then click Connect Wallet. Then the UI will change. There might be a pop-up where you have to click Accept. All you're doing is approving the webs like feeshes.com to read your wallet address so that we know where to send the feesh to. And then you'll enter in the quantity. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should mint more than one. One is good enough, a ticket for the ride. Of course, more gives you more airdrops and other things. There's perks to having more. But if one is all you can afford, then great. That's it. But you can change the quantity up to 10. And if you're going to say, and again, I'm just saying this just from gas reasons alone, again, no pressure to mint anything extra. If you were going to mint 3 and you have the ability to, minting 3, there's a reduced cost on gas because you're just doing 3 transactions as one versus minting 1 and then minting 1 and then minting 1, your gas will be slightly elevated. Is it a crazy difference? No. But if you know you're going to mint some, it's better to do it in one go and get that gas reduction than to do it individually. Again, not earth-shatteringly different in gas, so no pressure, but just something to call out.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Once you're done with that, like once you hit mint, then it mints, and then you'll have it in your wallet. It'll say your feesh has been delivered. And I think right now I probably need to do an update to make it a little bit more of a ta-da, or click here to like log in, because the next step would be logging in either through your wallet or logging in through an account and linking your wallet, and then you'll actually see your feesh. You can actually then make tanks. If you do just the free Web 2 side, you get 1 tank and you can buy additional tanks. If you have a Web 3 feesh, you have unlimited tanks. And so why would you want extra tanks? Similar to Veve showrooms, being able to set it up one way and then set it up a different way. In my living room, we've got a big TV. And I've got like 2 or 3 tanks that I'll alternate out. So if we're not watching TV, it becomes like kind of an art installation that's cool. Just animated, and it can set up. It's like one's more green if you want like kind of a chill, one's more red, one my kids made. So just like, you know, whatever you want, and they're unlimited. So you can have different setups, and you can have, even if you have one feesh, you can have the same feesh in all the different tanks. And then one other thing, when making a feesh, if you only do have one, there's a feature I wanted everybody, even if you can only afford one, to be able to have the full tank experience. There's an option called portals. If you turn portals on, randomly the sides of your tank will open up and a feesh will beam into your tank. It's kind of like getting visitors from other tanks in your tank. So you can still get the full tank experience without spending any more money.
Yeah, that's very cool. I also, again, want to refer back to the feesh cord because I was talking to Slammy the other night and she pointed out that you have like a bot or something or a widget in there that kind of lets you know what gas prices are.
Oh yeah, I mean it's nothing special that I made. It's just something that's installed.
But it's helpful for people if they want to kind of, before they go and go through all the steps, they can just kind of see what the current gas is, and then
you can just ask. You can look at this. It's like in the sidebar where all the users are. It's kind of towards the top. And so you can look, but it's just a number. And so like if it's like around like less than 20, you're probably okay. If it's over 40, I would hold off. But you can ask on the feesh cord, just like, is now a good time? And then someone will help you, like say like, you might want to wait. Like this is a little high. But lately with like the Ethereum cost and all that, gas should be around $5 to $10 kind of max. Anything beyond that is ridiculous. You're just burning money. So don't do it. Don't race in.
And how can somebody get into the feesh cord if they aren't already there? Can they just go to
feeshcord.com? I try to make it super easy. Feeshcord.com is like a forever link to our Discord. One other thing to call out though is when you join, it's going to look kind of barren, and that's because we kind of hide everything to avoid spam and things like that. So there's a welcome channel. Just click there and click the emoji, and then you're all set. Otherwise, there's one extra channel called like suggestions. I leave that purposely open for people that are like, hello, where we can help coach them through like the emoji thing. It's a little weird, but it keeps the feesh cord clean.
Okay, I want to be mindful of your time. You only have 10 minutes or so left, correct?
Give or take, yeah.
Okay, so let me prioritize here. Why would you say that people should consider holding out? Because you are going to get the people that just mint their Web3, they go and then they get their Veve fish and then they might sell. But are there any, you want to talk about maybe some of the perks, gaming experiences, and all the stuff that they can do with their Web3 fish as a reason to maybe consider holding their fish and not selling them?
Yeah. I mean, it's really up to you. You can sell, no shame. But if you want, like, it does give you access to creating your own tank. Every event that we do, you get access to for free. Usually it's about $15 on like the Web 2 side to join into those. You get free airdrops. All the airdrops are like hand drawn from me. And if you really want hand drawn Brock stuff and then hand coded, and instead of like just like airdropping you a tree, usually it's like, for example, the racing event that we just did. So you would have gotten access to feesh racing, where the feesh went down these giant tubes, and there was 10 races over 10 days, and there's a prize, which I still have to send out. This Veve thing has taken over my life, but next week hopefully it'll be a little more calm. But yes, there was airdrops. So like one was like a toy racetrack, and where there was 2 kind of holes that are in the bottom of your tank, and a car kind of zooms in, out, and over and back down. There's a giant blimp that can float through your tank that has like a worm that's the commentator for the races. All these kinds of things where they had this theme of like racing, like a traffic light, things like that. So you can decorate your tank. And then beyond that, there's usually an experience. So for example, October, there's a lot coming. We've got a song. So everybody will get like an NFT version of the song. It'll also be on streaming, but you get the NFT.
This will be like your 3rd or 4th song, correct?
So we did a whole album first year. And then this year, this is probably the 4th song that I've been working with a friend named Bradley. He's in a band. He's about to go on tour, so I've been trying to like snag whatever I can out of him. And then we just completed a full album, like a second album, where basically it's kind of like the Gorillaz. I'm not sure if people are familiar if I'm dating myself, but kind of like they're a virtualized band. So like the band members were kind of like, anyway. So this is the thought is, what if feesh listen to? And so there's going to be this band that I'll be releasing, this kind of like alpha, this band that's coming out that feeshes are obsessed with. So like think a huge thing, and we'll be able to hear not only the kind of their excitement leading up to it, but there'll be a big musical event where like some kind of metaverse that I'll have to find that could handle it. We could do this big giant concert, and so that will be completely 10-track album. I'm going to be pressing vinyls of it that'll be available for people. So yeah, it's going to be fun, I think, because it's just another adventure. So pretty much, yeah, if it comes to my brain. But October will be very fun. Big airdrop. There's a haunted mine experience, so it's like a multiplayer game that everybody can jump in and run through this haunted cave system. And there's stories, and you can interact with different characters, and then try and find this item to combine with this to do. And then there's a big kind of reveal at the end. So I don't want to get too in depth in it. But yeah, the Halloween song, I can't stop listening to it, even though it's just a Halloween song. And then yeah, who knows? Some other very, very exciting things probably will be coming. So
yeah, I wonder where we're going to be able to find a metaverse that can handle stuff like this. It's interesting.
I'm sure one will pop up.
So speaking of that, in maybe a perfect world without giving too much of your hopes and secrets away, what would you like to see? You mentioned the feesh following you and being able to do certain things with them, but what would be your dream of how you see them interacting in the Vveverse?
I mean, my big kind of thing is to almost take like a Disney World map and have the feeshes work through that. Like you've got your main street where it's like this is the tanks and the lore and the events are happening here, and then over here there's all the gaming. So like my next kind of stop is once these kind of next two events come, there's a huge one coming at the end of the year called Feeshmas. It'll be our second Feeshmas celebrating together. I'll dive into that more later, but it's a holiday based around greed. And so that we had to collect coal and like all this crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
I airdropped everyone coal.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, after these two, my next thing is to really drive back into like the gaming side. And I ran into some snags with kind of like IMX. Hopefully they're either resolved or I'm just going to make it to where it's a sidecar kind of things. But yeah, I want to have gaming. We've got the main feesh game with the mech suits. There's a card game that's like a digital card game that I'll be kind of finally releasing. There's a single player mode, all of that gaming under one roof. There'll be a metaverse side kind of aspect. There'll be like the store with products and merch and stuff like that. Like really just a kind of like, again, anything you want. And a lot of it's already built. So it's just a matter of going. Oh, and then Feeshissippi will be another part too. That's like a physical place that is a state that all the feeshes, people think I'm joking, but it's a physical place landlocked by California. The sign goes in the ground to make it official, October 7th. So,
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I'm a governor of a state. So, yeah.
So what other could we see more collabs in the future between you and Veve, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's for me, the answer would always be yes. I do think that probably Disney and others are like, what's this fish thing that like we have used that date? But we'll see. I think the last one took a year, so maybe 6 months. That would be a good time to beat to kind of like half the time, but who knows? I kind of move fast, so.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can say, but do you believe so much in utility and stuff? Are you wanting to bring also, whether it be airdrops or just different things, access that you can get by holding, say, the full set in Veve? Or is that kind of stuff that's in your mind?
So there's things that I've been asked not to talk about, not by Veve, but by the feesh fam. And so I will just say, longer term, like right now, I think someone said, like, I expected more. Like, I don't know what you expected more. It's interactive. I think it's fucking free. And it's artist drop from like 4 insane artists. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, if I can add extra, I always will. The problem is like with Web3, I can pull wallets and I can airdrop everything, right?
Right.
With the Veve as it currently is, I don't have your wallet, or I don't have a way to transfer something outside in. I don't have control to do pull levers on the Veve side. So if that changes, then sure, the sky's the limit. Like I would love to be able to go, here's all kinds of stuff. But I still did like even more utility, I think. But where I found out as a licensor, they're privy to getting a certain amount of collectibles.
Right.
So I'm taking 2 sets of those that are sub 41. So one set is going out on Twitter just in the wild. The other one's like another crazy way that you have to go through all these hoops. So don't even bother.
That's really cool that you're doing that.
But yeah, so that's something that like I would love to do repeatedly if there ever was something like NV where it's you have the feesh, that's basically just an endless raffle where every time I'm randomly pulling from 1 to whatever the current supply is, and if I pick your feesh, then maybe you get the sub 40, sub 41 one of the items or whatever. So
that's
things like
exciting.
that, I would love to just keep doing it as long as I'm able to. But again, I'm kind of like a guest in someone's home. I can't twist. I have no clout to twist Vivi's arm. So
yeah, I get that. All right, last question, and then I'll let you go. This is a loaded question, so
okay.
answer it as much as you want. How would you say, like, how has your experience been in the Vverse?
With like beta, people call me a moon boy, but it's super awesome. I think the seeing the pieces in the Vverse, in the way that they kind of show up, and then being able to even customize lighting and the skybox, and there's like atmospheric options that you can adjust. It lets you enjoy your collection in just the right way that like you can sit down and really kind of mess with it. I've seen some of the criticism of like, well, what if you're not a builder? The process of using the Vverse is so easy that you might become a builder is one thing. The other thing is I've seen they have some of the big known VV builders in, and the stuff that they're building is insane. Like today, somebody had an entire like Jurassic Park like raptor pen built out, or entire like Batman like Arkham Asylum, a haunted house that like
sounds like Falcon and Tails.
Yeah, there are tons and tons of things, and I think the cool thing is it's not just those people that are making really cool shit. It's people that have never really been known for making cool stuff publicly, tinkering and finding a way. So like you can really make it your own. And I think right now everything's in phases. So I think a lot of people are like, this is the dump that we've been able to talk about, and I think people are taking that. Some people, not a lot of people, but some people are taking that and going, this is all it is, and then writing it off. Like it's phases, right? Like the scripting thing is going to unlock me to be able to make trampolines that actually work. Like why would you walk when you can bounce to the moon? Like those are the things where it's almost like creativity unlocked. And I can already see just from where this is going that it's going to be this huge, just fun world that anything's possible. And if you can build it, you can put it together, you can do all these things. And I could see right now it's spaces, but I could see where it's Marvel Land, Disneyland, and there's just tons of content and enjoyment. And then you can do it all with the social features. Like someone was saying that like Elon Musk, I think was saying that like X is going to be, everyone's going to be paying a thing. The Vverse, as far as I know, is free. Why would we sit around on spaces and pay to do it when we could jump into someone's space on the Vverse and enjoy and see and share things like it?
Well, and that's the other point too, is that that was what I wanted to say as well, is I've heard that it's been very interactive and you guys sort of get together and talk to each other. And I've heard people talk about getting together with you, and you're just not even going to have a need for X anymore if you can do all the same stuff tenfold in the Vverse. You have all that collaboration and being together and hearing each other, seeing each other.
Yeah, and I would love to, like, again, I'm not Disney, but like I'm on Veve now. It's like Feesh Land or Feesh City, where the feeshes come from, bringing that to life and being able to like really flesh that out and have, here's something you can go and do, here's something you can go and do, here's a weekly meetup space, here's a treasure hunt. Like all these things are possible, and I've already seen like how they could be snapped together. Are they there today? No, but I can see the dotted line and see where the ball's going to instead of where the ball's kind of sitting right now. And so I'd love to make my own interactive world. And I think Veve is learning very quickly. If you give a bread cat an inch, I will take many miles. I will build you a spaceship and take you wherever. So hopefully they don't stop that. And yeah, I'm just aiming for a lot of fun for anybody that's taking a ticket to ride.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. Okay, I want to be mindful of your time. You gave me about 45 minutes. This was very informative.
I could do 10 minutes if anyone has questions in the chat.
Oh yeah, if there's some questions you guys want to hop in, it'll be a little bit delayed for us. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there was ones that I saw. There was somebody asking about burning. I don't think that's in your plans, right? Of burning the Veve fish, right?
The Veve. So I will say that there's some people that like set up wallets 2 years ago and lost them. So like even though the supply is 10K, if you can't access your wallet, you can't. So like some of the supply is technically just not going to exist in that form. But like I think early on, a couple of people were like, "You didn't sell out in a month. Are you burning the rest? Like why do you hate your holders? That are, like you should do that." Those are things that are tickets to ride. Disney doesn't sell all the tickets they're ever going to sell in the first day and then say, "Oh, no one will ever show up." Like for me, it's about building this huge thing that people want to enjoy and being able to continue. Like I don't need the monetary side. That's just an interesting side effect. I'm able to do this whether we meant none or we meant all of them out, because for me it's a joy to do. And so as long as people are still interested in having fun, I'm going to take it as far as I can go. And so we're 2 years in. I don't plan on stopping.
Nice. I like it. I have a feeling that this question gets asked a lot because everybody's commenting on it.
We so about baby feesh, it's been so we tried in February to romance these feesh and try and get them to breed, and turns out they just don't. Weirdly enough, at the same time that we finished that, 50 mini fish, which are smaller fish, they're just small, they're not babies, they're just small, appeared and ended up in the hands of those who found love first. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any baby fish because they just don't do that.
And then Jabs is saying talk about sub 40, but is that what we already covered, or is that something else?
I think so, but I'll recap it really quickly. That it's just I get these sub 40 things as a collector. I would love for some of those to be in the wild, and I hope licensors do. And I've made the first move, I think, and so game on. If they don't, I think it's a good perk, and I think people really like it. But so yeah, I'll be giving away 2 sets. It'll be the first time ever since the first drops where there was only the first 16 held, where you can get a sub 41 set. I'm giving them to more people. I'm not giving a full set out. You can get a chance to win one of 4 of that mint and one of 4 of the other mint, so 40 and 39. But they'll be in the wild, and so if someone really wants that set, they can use the secondary by any means. And so someone could now get either the full set of 40 or the full set of 39 if they use the secondary market, I guess, to have that kind of like one of one set, if you will. And so hopefully,
yeah. So there's technically going to be like 8 winners then, right?
Correct. Yep. That was my goal, is to try and spread it out a little bit, and give instead of having, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Legends of the Hidden Temple, but like you can have 1 amulet of health, or you can break it into 2. Like, yes, I could have given someone a full set, but I think breaking it out and giving more chance to have a piece of that is cooler than going, here you go. Although winning a set would be super great, I wanted to be mindful of the supply is already 10,000, and so I think we can stomach 10,008. But I didn't want that slippery slope of like I'm giving all of them away, and then that it is a perk that I wanted to try and keep the maximum value, and again, not guaranteeing any secondary or anything like that. But what can I do that's cool and engaging and gives a chance? Like, what am I going to do? Just sit on however many sets I end up getting? Like, that's not cool. I'm not going to sell them because that's kind of a dick move. And so the rest will sit with me. But at least I'm letting 2 escape. And as far as I'm concerned, if any opportunity that I've ever had to get that, I would just continue to do that as a perk for feesh. So pretend I had like another VV drop. If I get the same things, then 39 and 40 would probably go out as, again, like raffle for 1 of 4 of those sets, if there was a set of 4. And then again, you have a feesh. If you've got feesh number 1200, you didn't win this time, but next time I pull 1200, then you would get that. So like it's a perk that I hope to keep doing if there was ever another drop or anything like that.
No, I'm glad we actually went over this again, because I thought that it was going to be like 2 winners getting a full set.
8,
so I'm
8 winners. Yep.
Cool. Yep. I minted in 3,600 yesterday, so should be less than 3,000 redeemed. When I'm not understanding the question. Maybe you do.
There's no cutoff date.
Okay.
But also like there's a lot of interesting things to think about, because I think the community is very used to tell us how many there are, then there's a drop, and that's how many there are. There's a drop. This is a dropless drop, or a closed blind box, if you will. But some people might never redeem them. Some people won't be able to redeem them. The other interesting thing is like the Mumbot only has 1,000. I get only 1,000 sounds ridiculous, but there's only 1,000. So only 1,000 people total can complete that set.
Right.
But they might be in like higher mint numbers within feesh. So like they might not, so that the ones that actually are out within the almost 4,000 that we've got today, there might not be a ton of Mumbots. Or there actually could be no KMND-Zs. Like it's completely randomized 19 times, literally 19 times. Yeah. So we'll see, because it'll be interesting, because I don't know, and so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secret rare fish that could be. I don't know.
There's not a secret
You're saying
rare.
Like there's not a secret rare. There's not. I'll just confirm right there. There is not a secret rare feesh for this series 1. I tried to think of everything, but just a 5th feesh. I'll also say this too. Like I did 3D feesh that were airdropped to holders like ages ago that worked in spatial and stuff. They're just like regular feesh that were modeled after some feesh holders. These 4, and this is like a secret that I don't think anybody knows, these 4 are the ones that didn't get turned into 3D. So in a way, these are the first time these specific body types are brought to 3D.
Oh, interesting. Very cool. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So if you need to get rolling, I think we can leave it here.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate the fanfare of this border is awesome. If anybody has any questions, the Feesh fam is ready and willing. I'm around, although it has been a crazy week. But I appreciate everybody that has been around since day one. Anybody that has been here since 5 minutes ago. All of you, I really, really appreciate you jumping into my wild little fish project. And I hope to just keep delivering.
All right, there's a little clarification there.
Yeah, let's do. Yeah, I think we're making assumptions that we can't do, because again, there's no end date. And so if I go to bed tonight and I wake up and 1,000 more fish have been minted, then there's 1,000 more. I would operate under the assumption that there are 10,000, but no, there's some wackiness that can happen where not all of the supply might be in that 36 or 30. I think we're at like 3,700 or whatever now. And so if that's the case, rarities might be kind of crazy.
Okay.
And then also, this is the first drop where it's literally going to people that did not know this was coming and love the project and have been around. So like, we'll see if they want to sell it or whatnot.
And then I had one last question, but I'm blanking on at the moment. Sure. Oh yes, I remember. Okay, so things coming up. So Miss Lammy and I are going to work on a tutorial video to help people and try to get that out ASAP. And then did I read that you're going to do a Veve space on X?
Yeah. I don't know if they've announced it yet or not, but next Tuesday, Ryan and I have it on the books. So sorry, Veve, if like I jumped the gun on that, but I think it's scheduled. And so promo probably for that will be going out soon. And then I put that's when I'll do the drawing. I'm going to try and screen record so no one like calls shenanigans, and I'll just randomly do 1, 2, 3, 4. And those 4 codes will be, or feesh will be out, 2 days to claim, and just go on the feesh cord. I'll have you verify through your account. Once I verify that we're all good, I'll need your Veve information, username and email. And then Veve will fulfill that because I don't have transfers. So.
Raven asked, are we doing a live stream for the drop Sunday? No, I'm not planning, but I do believe that the Veve Discord will still have their regular scheduled drop show. So
yeah, I'm going to try and make it to some of the stuff that day, but also be like pushing the button. And then if something messes up or people need help, I'll be helping folks with that. So I will do my best. And that's also been, I've had 5 concerts this week back to back. Those were scheduled like a year ago. And then Vivi's like, can you do this date? I'm like, yes, I'm not waiting any. Yes, we'll take whatever date.
Make it happen.
It's been a wild week, but I don't care. This is something that I've wanted to bring for ages to the holder. So it's I'm super excited to see them and get to enjoy it and find all the little secrets.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I know you've got somewhere you've got to be, and we're all so excited for you and can't wait to see how Sunday goes.
Thank you. Just getting started. See you, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for being here.